Oopsies. You can just go ahead and disable the waiting room, Maddie. Hey everyone, welcome to today's info session for the RIoT Your Reality Challenge. I'm Amber Cobb, Director of Partnerships at RIoT, and we're so grateful to have you here today. We're just going to give it one more minute to get the waiting room disabled, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, fantastic. Again, I'm Amber Cobb, Director of Partnerships. Thank you all for being here today to discuss and learn about the RIoT Your Reality Challenge. We are so grateful to have our amazing partners, US Ignite, Facebook Reality Labs, and their generous sponsorship, as well as the town of Cary, City of Raleigh, and Google Fiber, and our amazing technology partners who we'll be hearing a little bit about later on. I'd like to introduce RIoT's Executive Director, Tom Snyder, to take over from here. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amber. And thanks to whoever on my team made this slide. This is kind of a funny pie chart here about me. I lead the RIoT organization. I see a number of folks in the participant list that I know and a few people that I don't. And I do like meeting new people. So feel free to reach out afterwards. If I haven't met you, I'd love to get to know you and a little bit more about why you might participate. And I hope everyone will participate in this challenge. I want to give you just a little bit of background on what we're trying to accomplish, what this challenge is. And then we're privileged to have our good friend Scott Turnbull here from US Ignite. He's going to provide a little bit more background about what they're architecting. We're actually just one of 3 sites that are doing these civic focused augmented reality challenges. And so he can give a little more background on how this all came to be. But most of what we want to do in our time together today is to really focus on making sure that we are all aligned on what we're trying to accomplish, and then answer questions from any of you about how you might engage and participate. So if you have questions as this goes on, drop them into the chat window. I'll ask Maddie and Amber to help me monitor that if I miss something while I'm rambling on. We don't have that large a group, so we may even be able to get where we can unmute and ask some questions and so on. But with that little bit of housekeeping out of the way, the end goal here really is to support the communities that we live in. And while this particular challenge is being sponsored by our friends in the city of Raleigh and in the town of Cary, and we're grateful to have our headquarters in that region and to work closely with those municipalities, the end opportunity here is not only to help those places, but to help all places and all communities. Technology moves really fast, and the business world, at times is pretty good at capturing that and creating value out of it. We need new technology solutions in government, in kind of our civic space, and while government also, you may not believe this, is actually pretty good at tech. They don't always have the freedom that we as entrepreneurs have to experiment and to break things and to try new things. For those that were on our Monday session of this, you saw us on an experimental platform crash and burn pretty royally as we started this event, and it was great. I know that sounds strange, but when you think about what our government's role is, they've got to have police and fire protection happening 24/7, 365, no interruptions, no failures. Our utilities, clean water, electricity. Think how helpless we are immediately when the power goes out, right? So think about government is that they provide these things to have great places for us to live and high quality life, but to do something brand new, like what we did on Monday, trying a different kind of online meeting platform, often it's hard for them to do. But here's where we get to help out. We get to be entrepreneurs. We get to create new solutions to some needs that our government partners have articulated. And the RIoT team in particular likes to help to grow and scale things. So as we work through this program, at least one and potentially more than one of the projects that come through this process, we might be able to scale into solutions that government wants to be a first customer and try out, and then maybe it scales broadly, and we can launch a new company out of this initiative potentially. So there's a number of steps between here and there, and that's some of what we want to talk through. We will present these specific problem statements that the different communities have posed. But before we get to that, maybe Scott, I'll ask you at this point to provide some introduction to US Ignite. We've worked with you for many years, but there's folks in the audience certainly that don't know your organization, a little bit about yourself and how this all came to be.
Sure. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you, everybody at RIoT, everybody at the city of Raleigh and in the town of Cary, as well as our partners in Facebook. We're very interested in helping advance the adoption of augmented reality for great public benefit. My name is Scott Turnbull. I'm the Director of Technology with US Ignite. We're a national nonprofit that works to help advance the smart city movement, help people integrate technologies into their lives in some meaningful way, start new businesses with them, and really advance the impact that the arrival of technology has on people's quality of life. I know that RIoT is a national leader in that as well. So partnering with RIoT has always been a great joy for everybody at US Ignite, because they're really focused on entrepreneurs and having a great community impact and growth nationally, just as we are. So let's talk a little bit about how this originated. Now, Facebook came to us and talked about wanting to stage a national challenge that helped people get a vision for how augmented reality can impact quality of life, how it could be adopted, and what new businesses can start. And we wanted to identify 3 communities across the country to help locate challenges that would do that. Now, we've went through that process and very happy to be partnering with RIoT, City of Raleigh, and Town of Cary on this. But the 3 communities that were selected nationally, and that's Facebook's and US Ignite statement of where we think leadership is in terms of talent pools, vision, and where the future of the country is going. That's the triangle area. You're down in Raleigh, and so you all, City of Philadelphia, and Long Beach, California. I think those are real pillars, and you'll notice they're outside the big 5 where we've seen innovation come from traditionally, but we're at an inflection point in our country. I think we're at an inflection point where we need to tap different ways of thinking. We need to tap new generations of entrepreneurs. We need to tap people with greater visions of how technology can be adopted. That inflection point to me is this idea that for 30 years, we've gotten as much as we're going to get out of the page load. So some variation of the page load of downloading information to someone so they can read it and then go someplace and act on it. Where we're at now is we need information contextualized into people's lives. And so we need to start establishing businesses for things that people never thought they would need. And that's always a difficult prospect to get across to folks. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, Twitch, YouTube, Kickstarter, all of these, Patreon, all these platforms that are generating new economies were not on anybody's radar. It took somebody thinking differently about some form of business or some form of technology and how that can be used in people's lives to bring that to the forefront. Now it's generating tens of millions of dollars of revenue. We think that there are new untapped businesses, new untapped technologies that will be coming out in the next 20 years that are not based on that page load. And we think augmented reality is really has big potential for that. And the difference is VR provides people with a similar perspective, and they can change that perspective and is malleable and mutable, which is great. But augmented reality has the advantage of providing the same context to the users looking through the lens of whatever that device is. We're already using augmented reality. We know that. We've used Snapchat filters. We've used Instagram filters. That provides some sort of humorous context, but really now we're starting talking about things that impact quality of life, things that make operations smoother, that make things more efficient, that provide greater levels of service to people, and can change communities to be more inclusive, to be more contextual to the lives of the people who live in them, and to adapt to the people living in them as well. So I think the way RIoT and City of Raleigh and Town of Cary have targeted this around their 3 big pillar activities is a great example of that. Improving inclusivity, when anyone within a community looks out on their street or out in their community, I can guarantee you, based on their background, they see what's in front of them in very different ways. So augmented reality has the potential to overlay that data, to give that same context between users so they can see their local environment in similar ways, in ways they hadn't considered before, perhaps because that wasn't part of their lived experience before. Also, the potential for workforce development. You can imagine when a master craftsman and when a apprentice craftsman look at something, they see that thing in extremely different ways. But augmented reality has the capability to have them have similar context, to include information, to remove distractions, to bring in contextual information they may not have had, including data about whether that be electrical grids or the quality of IoT devices that are in the area, reading additional data or whatever it is. It gives them a context that they wouldn't have, or at least would take them a while to get, standing there together. And then, of course, reinventing the Raleigh Convention Center. That's a sort of another pillar of AR is the idea for spatial awareness. How an individual location, how you could use that space similarly, how you can bring your attention to proper areas, and how again you can share the context of that area that sparks economic growth, improves use, or lets people use things more safely, depending on the vision of that entrepreneur. So I think augmented reality has the potential to create a shared context where no other product has done that before. Again, with the page load, we've had to look to our side to create a separate stream out of band context to bring in more information and return our attention to wherever it started out with. With AR, we can integrate that experience all into a single stream of consciousness, into a single user experience, or into a single professional pursuit. So I think it really stands us at the edge of something completely new in our society. That being, again, context, expertise, and other things where our own attention wasn't able to get to. So I'm super excited about the potential of this challenge. I'm super excited to see what entrepreneurs and startups and all sorts of innovators bring to the table in terms of what they think can form a national vision of where our next steps are with AR. And I'm really looking forward to, as I always am, to working with our partners at RIoT and in the city of Raleigh and in the town of Cary. They've always been a great innovation hub, and we know that this is going to be a really fantastic event. So thank you very much. If there's any questions, I should have opened my talk with that. If there's any questions, I'd love to answer them. I can answer them now or later. But thank you very much for having me here. I appreciate it. I think you're muted, Tom.
Yeah, I almost was quick enough not to get the "I think you're on mute" to response, but anyway, yeah, thank you very much for being here. That's inspiring. What you describe. It's so much fun for us working in this tech space day in and day out and seeing how emerging technologies allow us to address problems in ways that we haven't before. One of the things that I'm particularly excited about, and I think is part of why we were fortunate enough to be selected for this particular program, is just how forward thinking and risk taking both Raleigh and Cary are able to be. I just mentioned, the importance of government being, up and running, no quality issues 100% of the time. We get to play around and do these experimental things in this contest. That's great. But those in the audience may not know some of the kind of leading things that have happened. I remember, for example, gosh, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago, you're sitting down together with Nicole Raimondo, who I think is on the call here, and Terry Yates, who was at the town of Cary, he's retired now, but talking about how they're transforming their downtown government complex in downtown Cary into a living laboratory for experimenting with new IoT solutions for smart parking or lighting and meters and other kinds of things. And most communities don't think of their government IT as an open API to come in and try things and get civic feedback and engagement. So this is the kind of culture of organization that's supporting this. In the city of Raleigh, for a number of years, spearheading a national level Smart City Conference. It's been rebranded now the Connected Communities Conference going forward, but bringing people from all around the world to learn from the things that have happened right in our region. And so as you can tell, I'm pretty excited about this. But I am seeing some questions and things coming into the chat. There was a technical question from Olivia about what platforms to use for development. There is no specific requirement to use the Spark platform, for example, from our friends at Facebook who are involved in this, but certainly that's one that you may want to consider. Any platform is open to the actual competition, and there's no favor as we weigh submissions towards one platform or another. Yeah, Amber mentioned that, as part of what we're going to do, that, this is something that's going to happen over, it's not just this one meeting, right? We are introducing the problems here. There's going to be an opportunity for folks at a next session to come in and present what ideas they're interested in. And then some number of those ideas will carry forward through kind of a project sprint into the summer, and then we'll have a final pitch. And so there will be chances as we go along for us to build a repository of tools and links, and we'll share that out to everybody in the community that's participating. Let's see, what other questions do we have? What's the best way to approach government opportunities for startups? From Ben. Come to RIoT. We can help with introductions. We're a connecting organization. US Ignite, likewise, loves to learn about new and interesting things, and we have deep networks and can help think through with you what would be the right approach to approaching government with a possible solution. Make sure you're ready for that, so that sometimes you get one chance at an introduction. Let's do it right the first time, and so on. But feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to do that, and we're not selling you anything. We're not we don't charge any money for anything like that. Maybe if we could, I think either Amber or Maddie, do we have queued up the short video of the problem statements that we can show? Should we do that, or do you want me just to articulate them?
I can certainly play the video.
Let's do that, please.
Hey challengers, Justin Sherwood, Business Relationship Manager here at Town of Cary. I'm speaking to you from Town Hall campus, which acts as our innovation lab. And I'm excited to represent Cary for the RIoT Your Reality AR Challenge. The area I'm most interested in seeing an AR solution is workforce development for data economy. And what does that look like? We're looking to see what kind of solutions you can come up with for employee growth, employee training, or even employee satisfaction. I hope you're as excited as I am, and we can't wait to see what you come up with.
Hey Rioters, my name is Jess George, and I'm the Government and Community Affairs Manager for Google Fiber, and I'm here in downtown Raleigh at the RIoT Labs. I am super excited to represent Google Fiber in the RIoT Your Reality Challenge. So we at Google Fiber really believe that augmented reality has untold potential for solving some of the world's greatest challenges. And one of the big challenges that's close to my heart is inclusivity and accessibility and equity. So that is why I am really excited to see what you all will come up with for some augmented reality solutions to our second opportunity challenge, which is increasing accessibility and inclusivity for city programs. I think that there are going to be incredible opportunities, innovations, and ways that you all are going to come up with to solve some of the challenges that face us and everyone in our cities every single day. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we all create together.
Hey Rioters, I'm Noah Otto, Smart City Coordinator at the City of Raleigh. I'm coming to you from outside the beautiful Raleigh Convention Center in the heart of downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. I am thrilled to represent Raleigh in the RIoT Your Reality Challenge and partner with RIoT on this amazing opportunity. Augmented reality is a technology that we at the city believe has the potential to change the way our city looks and feels. An area where I think AR solutions can bring about the most impact is in tourism. I am looking forward to seeing all the great AR solutions created for our third opportunity statement, reigniting the Raleigh Convention Center and tourism for continued economic growth. Together we can breathe technological life into our city.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Amber, for that. So those are the three kind of lead category areas where we're looking for interesting solutions. That said, part of being an inclusive organization is, if there are other really cool ideas outside of those areas that you have that you're passionate about, we'd still love to learn about them. The opportunity space for using augmented reality is massive. It's absolutely huge. And in those three areas that you just heard, in workforce development, in equity and inclusion, in supporting economic development and tourism and so on, each of those categories all by itself is pretty broad. But here's where we start to get really messy. This is kind of entering into now the hackathon part of the event. So the next step is, we want to hear your ideas. What projects are you interested in working in? What can you contribute? Some of the folks that are on the line right now, you might be developers. You might know how to write the code that creates the magic of the augmented reality itself. Some of you might not be the technical folks, but you understand very deeply a particular problem space and can help with the project scoping and specifying and making sure we're building something that actually may have some utility. Others may be just good coordinators and organizers, kind of pulling teams together. We need people with all different skills to participate. And I'll ask you that, if you have a particular skill and are looking for a team, put that in the chat. As you have some ideas, let us know. Anyone can reach out to us. And as Amber mentioned, we're going to have some online repositories where we can store information, we can share links and tools and other things of that sort. With that though, let me pause and just open the floor to any kind of additional questions, whether they're just technical, practical matters, scope, etc. I'm scanning the chat here to see if I miss anything as well while I'm waiting to see. Durham certainly can participate, Derek. No worries about that. We're not territorial. I don't know. Go ahead.
I had a question.
Please.
I've worked in augmented reality and virtual reality for the last 5 or 6 years, and I have been involved in a lot of different projects that touch on a lot of the things.
Yeah.
So far, augmented reality I watched the SAS video, which was probably the deepest dive into utilitarian AR that I've ever seen in my life. And so there are these deep questions about digital twins. Eventually, once there's a digital twin of an entire city, augmented reality solutions would become rampant, because we could visualize context, like what Scott was talking about, in so many different ways. So I am curious about the landscape that can get created here because what might happen in business sometimes is you isolate, you niche. And when you do that, you kind of don't add to this digital twin city idea. Exactly. So there's a standardization that I am not seeing or hearing talked about, and creating the opportunity of us all to plug into this overall digital twin of all contextual data into an augmented future. So I'm curious, what are the conversations behind the scenes about what are the projects you're hoping to come out of this?
So first of all, thanks for the comment. That is a huge question. We can come back to anything we're hoping to. I guess I don't have a preconceived notion of what I'm hoping to come out. I'm hoping to see things that I wouldn't have thought of. But to your bigger question, I'll try to answer. It's a little bit abstractly, and I'll try and be succinct here. But in my experience, as I have kind of studied emerging technologies historically, as I've experienced them myself, living through the internet age, and now kind of the early days of the Internet of Things age, the behaviors that I see repeat again and again are something new comes in, and there's dabbling and experimenting in it, and that's where we are in AR right now. There is a lot of stuff that's done just to prove it can be done, but it's not necessarily yet creating real kind of value. We haven't found our killer apps yet, but then eventually those come. And once the technology scales to a level where there's a large market for it, best in class uses and solutions of the technology emerge, and those become standards. So until you have enough market size and enough kind of experimentation out of the way, we haven't figured out the best way to do things. And remember, a standard isn't regulated. A standard is something that you do deliberately just because, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it in the standard way, and they're going to surpass you in the market, right? And then eventually, when markets get huge and some of those standards are so critical that we must follow those standards, and those get coded in as regulations say. And that's a path that takes years and years to happen. I think that we will reach the point of having that open data information, global digital twin. This is years and years from now, but we'll work that way. Unfortunately, in the meantime, there are going to be lots of private data sets. There are going to be lots of proprietary data sets. The nice thing working on a project like this is almost universally across the government sector, there is clear interest in open data and sharing and making data available for anybody to tap into and for entrepreneurs to use and so on. So this is like the early days in stepping towards the future that you described.
Could I add one extra question to that? And I promise I'll be succinct.
Sure.
Okay. So I guess to be more specific with my question, do you think that we should be, as a group, all of us, thinking about these solutions applying to the city out or for the citizen in? Would it be an AR solution that would allow a city employee to do something, or would it be a solution that would allow a citizen to tap into that service that the city offers?
Yeah, both apply. I think that as long as it's serving a need in some way, I think both apply. Is there anything, Scott, that you'd like to add to either of those questions that
I think they're great questions. To be abstract, though, I think what I would love to see is something I hadn't known was possible and is so compelling that it drives its own adoption. I'll throw an example out. This is not AR, but Waze is a great example. It was so compelling. It was so adopted. It was so immediately apparently useful to people. The cities got on board by standardizing and supplying data because the people in it used it. They wanted to use it. The cities was getting something out of it. Everybody got some kind of benefit out of it. It was so compelling. It drove adoption. Now, I don't know what that would be, or else I wouldn't need to. If I knew what it was, I'd be doing it. So we're engaging entrepreneurs. And what I would love to see is something so compelling that it drives the adoption of a standard rather than tries to make it rote. That's what I would love to see.
So somebody mentioned, I guess, Derek, you mentioned the video that Mike had done at SAS. I don't have that at my fingertips, but I'll bet Amber or Maddie maybe have a link that we can drop to our YouTube channel for everybody that want to watch that video. Really interesting discussion on kind of AR and analytics. Other thoughts or questions, and then we'll get into next steps. Or maybe I need to describe that in order to solicit more questions. And feel free to unmute or drop them in the chat either way. Let's say, Ray asked, where's the list of the city problem statements that was just mentioned? Do we have that page? Or are they on our website? I'm actually not sure the answer to that. I'm looking to my team across the screen here.
Yep, they're on the website and we posted the link in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So our next step is that we have another event that is scheduled, and I think we may have a slide with some of the details on this event that we can pull up. But we have I call it an event. Really, it's a time for everybody to come and gather together, and we want to then hear all the ideas. So we'll make it available for everybody in the audience to hear all the different ideas, and then the goal is to have people be able then to meet each other. And some folks may have a team they're already working on, or you have the ability to to do this solo, and that's great. But others might be interested in sourcing the crowd and bringing people together, working on these projects together. We'll go through all of the ideas that are posed, and we'd like to push forward somewhere on the order of 5 or 6 maybe specific projects to move into a prototyping phase. if you already have something built or prototyped, and through this contest, you can add like additional features or something like that, we're open to those ideas. The only thing that doesn't really qualify is if you've already got a fully baked product that you're selling. Like this contest is not a sales channel for bringing established products to market. This is really about innovation. Now, I would still say, let us know about that, and let the people in this audience might be still interested in your solution, but we are trying to create new things. We know that this is largely a volunteer effort, but it helps to have a little bit of cash behind it. So each of the projects that gets selected will receive a small bit of money to help with that prototyping effort. We're talking on the order of about $1,000. That will enable you, say, if you need to build some hardware or get some cloud credits or whatever you might need for that. We are asking that the money be used responsibly towards developing these projects. We're not looking for folks to take it and go have a weekend in Nashville or something. And then we will provide resources to help, to mentor, to advise, to steer those projects for several months up to the summer program. I know some of our partners are here, and so I might pause for a moment to see. I think maybe Don, I saw you. Where's my participant button here? Don Shin, I think, with CrossComms on the line. I'll have to scroll through and see. I think we've got a few of our other partners here. Maybe they can give a quick introduction of themselves. We have experts in this space. They are not here to do your project for you. These are companies that get paid to do this kind of work. And if you're interested in engaging, of course, you can have that discussion. But they have, as part of this program, volunteered some of their time and some of their energy and mind to be here as advisors or mentors, or to offer suggestions or point to open source repositories of code that you can pull from, and so on and so forth. But maybe let's see who's here. I'll start with CrossCom, since I saw them. If you don't mind me putting you on the spot, Don.
No worries. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, my kid was just asking me how to spell something. So, hi all. My name is Don Shin. I'm the founder and CEO of CrossCom. We're a web, mobile, and immersive app development studio located in downtown Durham, North Carolina. And we love leaning into innovation and seeing innovation being used to impact people's lives, people's businesses, and social good as well. And so we're very, very happy to be here and see how we can provide our expertise as a source of guidance or as a sounding board for people who are interested in seeing augmented reality used for good.
Is the project that you had out in Greensboro active right now? Maybe it's shut down for COVID, but do you mind describing one of your?
Yeah. So we collaborated with the Greensboro History Museum to build a virtual reality app called Gerrymander Madness. And this was during a lot of the talk in the press about how much of an issue gerrymandering was in North Carolina, and how the state is sort of like the epicenter of gerrymandering conversation. And so we basically created a simulation that allowed someone to play the role of a politico or a political staffer and start carving up the state of North Carolina dynamically to see if, with the same demographic population map, you could basically skew the election either way. And the spoiler is, yes, you can. And so we created this virtual reality simulation, helped them set up a couple of VR experience stations at the museum. Unfortunately, this is right before COVID. However, we did pivot, and we are now, we helped them distribute the app on the Oculus and Steam VR app stores. So anyone with a headset can actually experience those apps.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's just, to me, it's a great example of using kind of emerging technology to educate and engage in a way that is just much more impactful. So I appreciate that. Do we have anybody from Building 25 on? I'm not sure I see anyone off the top of my head, but another great partner. They're based in Raleigh, and do amazing work across a number of different areas of AI and software development and AR and so on. But we'll make sure that we have links to how you can connect to that organization as well. Bill's asking if you can get a link to that app, or is that something that they could just find on Steam, Don?
You can find it on Steam, and you can find it on the Oculus store as well for HTC Vive and Oculus Rift, respectively.
Super.
Yeah.
All right, and I am seeing a couple of folks. Olivia's asking for a teammate for technical help. What is the best way for people to connect with each other outside of this forum? Do we have a thesis on that, Amber or Maddie? I apologize, I don't remember. I think we had talked about maybe setting up a Slack channel, but I don't remember if that happened, and I should have that answer.
Yeah, no, we were trying something else on the other platform, but guys, feel free to email us at info@riot.org and let us know who and what you'd like to connect to, and we'll try to matchmake a bit. Another idea is you can change your name on the screen right now. So if you're someone who's looking for technical help, maybe change your name to first name, need technical help. And if you're someone that's looking for an idea, maybe change it to your first name, need an idea. And you guys can direct message each other while we're on this platform as well.
That's perfect. And then Amber, while I've got you, will you just briefly describe the process by which someone can submit an idea that then gets them on the agenda for our next meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've put in the chat window a few times, the landing page for the Riot Your Reality Challenge. Hop onto that landing page, and towards the top, you'll see a link for Apply Now, and that's where you'll find our application. It's pretty easy and straightforward. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us and we'll help you do that. Applications are due by March 31st, close of business, so get working on them, guys.
Very exciting. Other thoughts, questions? We do not need to take up all of your Friday afternoon. If you're in a good space, we'll end early, but we'll hang around as long as we need to answer all the questions anyone has.
I see some people have changed their names, so make sure you take a minute to direct message people on Zoom.
How about Nicole or Noah or any of our partners in the municipal space? Anything you'd like to add?
Hey, this is Noah Otto, Smart City Coordinator. I just want to say that I'm extremely thrilled and excited about this opportunity and seeing what comes of it. And if any of you have any questions of any way that I can be helpful with the City of Raleigh during this time, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put my email just in case you do not have it in the chat for those who may want to reach out. But anyways, looking forward to it and looking forward to meeting each of you soon.
Hey, it's Nicole. I was just going to echo exactly what Noah just said. Please reach out to us. Let us know if you have any questions. You want to bounce ideas off of us. Feel free. We're here to help support this, and we are super excited. So yeah, definitely lean on us if you have any questions or ideas. We're here. Thanks.
Thank you to both. I am answering questions in the chat, and I'll also voice them just to have multiple kinds of communication. I think that's a big piece of inclusivity, right? There was a question about, can teams apply? Yeah, absolutely. Teams can be as multifaceted, multidisciplined, as diverse as you like. It can involve other organizations. It can just be individuals. There's not a specific commercialization requirement. We do have the opportunity to go through the RIoT Accelerator program and look how to scale and grow whatever solutions come out at the very end. That's kind of part of the grand prize, if you will, along with about $35,000. But they don't feel like you can't apply if you don't want to start a company or you're not interested in being a startup. There are plenty of folks maybe within the government that would be interested in taking the solution and then building it within the, internally in the organization already. There may be other entrepreneurs that that know how to start and scale a business, but they just don't have the idea, and they could take it. It could be a nonprofit effort. It could be just an interesting thing for citizens to download on their own. There's really no specific requirement in that regard. Have the other two cities of Philadelphia and Long Beach kicked off, Scott?
No, yeah, Riot is the first. As normal, you are first out of the gate, prepared to go. It's the leadership in that area. They'll be announcing, we hope, sometime in the next month or so. I mean, it's a testament to sort of the innovation spirit and community that you all have built there and extended nationally. That it's always such a great pleasure to work with everybody down there. Over answering your question, but no, you all are first. You deserve that big thumbs up. It's really great work.
All right. Let's keep that position, everybody. Let's have some great ideas and see if we can't be the ones that scale towards those other communities before they scale towards us. Have a little fun with the competition. Fantastic. Well, thanks for everybody's time today. We'll go ahead and close this out, but as you've seen in the chat, there's lots of ways to reach out to us, to reach out to our partners. Can't wait to see applications. I know some applications have already rolled in from our conversation on Monday, so thank you for that. And we can't wait to see more ideas and to hear from all of you coming up on April the 12th. We've listed here Socialize as the platform for that event. That was the platform that we had our crash on Monday. We're still working through whether or not that's going to be the tool that we use or not. You'll hear from us very soon on that, but go ahead and register, mark this on the calendar. If we do have a technology platform change over to Zoom or something like we have today, you'll be notified well in advance of that. The reason, again, that we went with Socialize, one is that we wanted to support an entrepreneurial activity that had come out of a similar effort like this from the start of COVID, where we were working on kind of new entrepreneurial missions that address some of the challenges that the pandemic had created. But also it has some really interesting ways in this online forum for people to connect with each other and do a little bit of the team building that a tool like Zoom isn't quite as appropriate for. So if we can get back to that platform, I will absolutely ask everyone to give it a second try. If we decide to go with a different one, we'll have that decision to you in the next, probably within the next week or so, but well ahead of April 12th. With that, thank you all. And thanks to this huge list of companies. We have over 95 corporate and municipal and academic sponsors of our organization that enable us to make everything that we do free for participants, for startups, for entrepreneurs. And in some cases, it's not just free, it's kind of negative free from our point of view, where we're able to give some money away. And again, thank you to our municipal partners for helping to make that happen, to Facebook, to Google, CrossCom, Building 25, and so on. Thanks again, and I can't wait till the 12th.